I'm not doing so well, but I wanted to go over the time when I was losing my mother. My mother, I just lost. My father was sick. I was extremely worried about my own health, my father's health, what my mother did to me, and how I'm going to figure it out. I have no idea what the hell is going on. My father has ripped my own housing away. He's screwed up my Social Security. He's bailing out on the attorney that he agreed to pay in consequence for stealing over $12,000 and getting me thrown out of my housing. He doesn't pay the lawyer. I got all this crazy stuff going on, and now my father's in the hospital from eating a bag of peanuts. He ate some salty peanuts, and next thing I know, he looks shitty, and I'm worried about him, and he's going to the emergency room. I want to go with him. He's not allowing me to. I just watched my mother die, and I wasn't allowed to visit her. So what do I do about it? I try to stay relaxed. I do some prayers. I come up with a plan of what I'm going to do. I take walks. I get fresh air. I'm asked to clean up the house, so I clean up the whole house. There's dishes. So I do a couple, but then I say, okay, in the morning, first thing I wake up, we're going to finish the dishes, and then everything is done. I don't have much more to do. I've done a little bit of cleaning up. I've done the floor. I've vacuumed. I've swept. I've checked over the garage. I've picked up all cigarette butts. I'm doing as much as I can, but now I'm upset. I'm thinking about my mother and father, and I think it's best just to go to bed. I take my regular medication. I'm still pretty brainwashed because I just want to sleep. I'm telling the doctor I just want to sleep, but he's doubling doses. I'm getting headaches, hangover. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? But I do need to sleep, and if I don't take the pills, then I'm up for like 5 days straight. So I don't know what to do. Do I not take the pills and feel all right during the day, but then I don't sleep for like 3-4 days and then I look like a weirdo? Or do I take the pills and I feel like shit all the time, but I get to sleep? I don't know how to make that decision, so I just take the pills and I sleep. Now, why can't I sleep? One, I feel like I'm going to die. I got the sinking feeling. There's a bunch of things going on. And even when I was highly sedated, if the meds were too strong and I was afraid I might die, or my heart was acting weird, or I was really scared, I would just sit there. I would tell the doctors, my mother, and then they would just double my doses. Nobody really cared. And I didn't realize it's because some of these psychiatrists really are just trying to push pills. Now I know if a child at the age of 16 goes up to the doctor, says I'm having extreme headaches, my chest feels weird, heart palpitations, I get a sinking feeling of fear, the meds seem to be too strong, a doctor's response should not be, give it more time, let's double the dosage. Not for Seroquel, Thorazine, and Trazodone. That is not a appropriate response unless you're a drug pusher. If you want to push more drugs and you have a mother that's pushing for more drugs and you get a small little 16-year-old patient coming in saying he's having problems with the medicine, well, it's very easy just to push more drugs onto him and ignore the child because you got the mother right there. So I was all fucked up on the head, but I go to bed. The meds knock me on my ass. I do get the heart palpitations, stuff like that. And the next morning, I'm getting my blankets ripped up. My sister's screaming at me. I have morning wood. My boner is staring at her in the eyes. I'm not sure if she can even notice that my boner is staring at her. I'm embarrassed. I'm like, what the fuck is this lady doing? Now, I go downstairs, I do the dishes, I clean the house. She says she's mad because there's dishes in the sink, and my father's coming home in like 5 hours. I had like 5 hours to kill before he actually showed up at home, which was the plan. I talked to my father the night before, we talked, I knew when he was coming, and I had a whole plan, each part of it marked down on a piece of paper. But see, she was upset, rightfully upset, that her father was sick. But my mother just died, my father is sick, and I'm trying to clean a house. I just lost my job, I am disabled, my social security is all screwed up, I'm on several medications, my mother just died taking my health care with her, and on top of this, I didn't even get a proper education, and I got nothing about what's my next step. I don't know where I'm going, I don't know where I'm going to be, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do to make money, I don't know where my apartment's going to be. I had all those answers before my father made a mistake by stealing Social Security money. My Social Security money was supposed to be going to rent. Instead, my father wanted it going to his house. Well, apparently that's not allowed. Apparently not paying your rent and getting a free ride based upon your father's lies is not allowed. Apparently me skipping out on my rent just because my father wants to lie about something, the program wasn't okay with that. They said, Zach, no, you were supposed to be paying rent. I was? Yeah, if you were collecting Social Security, $980 a month, every month you were supposed to be giving us rent. I go, well, why didn't I? Well, we thought you weren't on Social Security because your father lied to us. He lied to you. So we gave you the working deal. That is where you only give a percentage of what you work. You do, the regular stuff. But that's only for people who are not on Social Security. If you are on Social Security, we have a legal responsibility for you to fill out the paperwork properly and make these payments. And now you've been here for more than a year and you haven't made a single payment. Oh, great. So now I'm getting thrown out. My father stole my money, and the Department of Health and Human Services wants me to file paperwork against him to bring him to court and get my money back. Which, if I do that, my mother will never tell me what she's doing to me. I'll never get answers about my health. So I'm in a big dilemma there. So I'm a good son, and I bail my father out for about 12 grand. And that's only just for the 1 year. There's lots of other stuff to get involved, but we're not. That's what this is about. My father is sick in the hospital. I'm worried about him. He has the last of the truth, and my mother died already. I'm just like screwed up. This is fucked. And now my sister, who's married, she has a house, a good job. Her father and mother put her through college. I don't think she ever got burnt, beat, or poisoned as a child. I don't think she ever had a big black man choke her out. I don't think she ever had to get naked in front of strangers at the age of 12. And I don't think she was ever double dosed with medication. I don't think she has a neurological disorder. I don't think she has problems moving her body. She can drive a car. She has plenty of savings. And if she wants to ask daddy for 10 grand, she'll get it. But she loves her daddy, so she's going to pick on her little brother. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so you are upset at your father dying or getting sick. So you're going to come upset and yell at, your little brother for not cleaning the house. Okay, understandable. But if that is understandable, if I can be forgiving of that, if I can understand that, then that means you got to understand when I do it back to you. When I bust down your door and I pull your blankets off when you're with your husband, and tell you to go handle your father's shit. Hey, dad needs this right now. Get the fuck, do it. You don't get to get mad. You don't get to hit me in the face. You got to understand it, because I understood that you ripped my covers off as I had a boner in my underwear. Because I just lost my mother, my father's literally in the hospital, and I have all these health issues that nobody's giving me answers to, and I'm over medicated. If I don't take these pills, I'll be up for 5 days, but if I do take these pills, I'll get awfully sick during the day. So it's a lose-lose situation, and I'm talking to the doctors, but I'm not getting straight answers because my mother was a fantasy spinner with the doctor. And I can understand that. I'm forgiving. Yes, your father is sick and he's in the hospital and you got upset. It's very understandable. That's why I didn't get up and take something and smash her on the face. If you did something like that in the program, you would have 3 kids smashing you in the face with a stick. Those programs, they don't fucking play like that. You do something like that and you're getting condoms in your bed full of loads. You don't fuck around. But I'm not one of those people. I'm understanding. I was the kid that sat there and took it. That's why the staff members liked me, because I would never cause trouble. I was the kid who always took the damage. Took the damage from my mother, took the damage from the African American, took the damage from other kids, took the damage from doctors, took the damage from my father, took the damage from any family member who wanted just to hurt me or have a little fun with me or whatever they want to call it. So I'm very forgiving. My sister wants to pull my covers off first thing in the morning while I got morning wood. My father's in the hospital and I just lost my mother. I'm going to sit there and tell her I don't like it. That's all. I'm not going to smash her. I'm not going to get mad. I'm just going to tell her I don't like her behavior. But, can she do the same thing if we put this in reverse? Is she a good enough person to take what she dishes out? Do you think my sister would be able to take it if I came into her house, ripped her covers off, and then started yelling at her to do something for my father, for her father, that she was already about to do? Maybe it's a ride. Maybe she needed to pick him up in a couple hours. Would they be able to handle that? Let's say my father. My father says that taking a ruler to the face or getting over medicated or having an overdose at age 7, all that is no big deal. I'm lying. It's a fantasy. But can he take it and then I call it a fantasy? If I drugged the shit out of my father, hit him in the face with a ruler, then ran out and said that everybody's a fantasy, and everybody thought it was actually a fantasy. They actually believed me, and my father they thought was a fantasy spinner after something really happened to him. Would anybody actually be able to handle that? Like if somebody broke in the window in a mask, injected you a mystery drug, showed you the bottle, and then ran out. And then 2 months later, you get awfully sick and you're telling the doctor, some man in a mask broke into my house and stuck a needle in my neck. And the doctor says, no, your whole family says it's a fantasy. Then you go to another person and another person and another person, and each time nobody believes you, but you're getting sicker and sicker, and you were there. The guy broke the window. The window was broken. You've seen it. You had to replace the window. You know it's real. Could you handle that? Could you handle a guy breaking into your window, giving you drugs without your permission, not telling you what's going to happen from those drugs, and then everybody thinks it's some fantasy because somebody wants to lie in your family, like your kids? Would you be able to handle that? Probably not. But yet I'm expected to handle stuff like that. And I do. I forgive them. But I don't think that they could handle what they dish out. I think if I walked in and did some of these things, the only person that could handle what they dish out is my brother Tim and Seth. My nephew and my brother, the stuff they dished out, they absolutely can take. My nephew can take me calling him gay and joking around with him. My brother obviously can take me telling him to mow his own lawn or help me with something. So both of them, all the choices they made in my life, I think they could take. There's nothing I could do to them that they did to me that they wouldn't be cool with. I think just about everything is pretty decent there. But I don't think my sister could take me taking her covers off, and I understand why she did it. I don't hate her for it or nothing. I don't even care. She was upset. But if you're going to be upset and do something like that, you got to be able to take it when somebody else gets upset and does it back. And that's the problem with my family. Not my sister. My sister's actually very good about this type of stuff. She's awesome. She's very intelligent. She has a very intelligent husband. She was there and knew that my mother saying drugging me was wrong. And she was the only person in that room. My father thought it was okay to poison me. My mother thought it was okay to poison me. But my sister, her husband, and me, we were all horrified at what we were hearing. So I know they at least have common sense. I don't know where my father was. I thought he had common sense too, but he was in La La Land or something. We were all surprised. But can they take it? Can my father take any of this? Absolutely not. The stuff that he did to me and the stuff that he thinks is okay, if it was reversed, he'd be horrified. Absolutely horrified. I think that's why he ignored it when it was happening in front of him. Like when his wife was saying that she gave a child extra Epicac, I'm calling it a full bottle, and she says, yeah, so what? And then I ask her, I go, so you think it's okay to give extra medications to a child as a punishment or otherwise? And she goes, yeah, it's okay to give a child extra medication. And this is without consulting a doctor. This is not medication he's prescribed. This is just throwing prescription pills at your son from your medicine cabinet. My sister's horrified. I'm horrified. We're all horrified. I asked, does anybody see anything wrong with this? My sister says, of course. Her husband says, of course. I say, well, I definitely think of course too. And then my father goes, no, it's okay to poison a child, basically. He just says, yeah, it's okay. But that statement means it's okay to poison a child, which we're all horrified with. And then he goes, what? Huh? What did I miss? And it looks like he just woke up like he missed the whole conversation. This happens a lot where we'll have something terrible, and then my father would be like, what did I miss? Why? What? What is my wife doing? And then I have to suffer more. I have to get drugged more. My doctors are not going to know how to help me because my mother's going to lie to the doctors more. I mean, 25 years of suffering, and I'm still trying to get help. Thanks to my mother and father still lying. Well, my mother's dead now. She killed herself with drugs and alcohol. And my father tried to cover it up, but I'm pretty sure the hospital saw alcohol in her blood because she had 20% of her liver failing. she came home just to say goodbye to her family and see her family. But she went straight to the liquor cabinet, blew past her family, started drinking. Of course, the next morning, the 20% of her liver that was working wasn't liking the alcohol she drank the night before. She was very, very ill because she already was going through liver failure before she drank that drink. And now she's being rushed back to the emergency room. I'm not allowed to visit, by the way. My father won't let me visit, won't let me see her. I think he's afraid that I'll mention her drinking and the pill popping. I think that's really what that was about. I was just planning on sitting there quietly, and my mother might confess to what she was doing. She already had confessed multiple times, but I want the full story. Not only this, I had no plan to talk about her drinking. I wanted her to get a liver transplant. I needed her alive. I needed my mother alive. Not only did I love the 50% of her that wasn't hurting me, the 50% that was causing serious harm to my body, we needed to know what the hell pills she was giving me, what the hell she was doing, what she was messing around with, and we only got half of that out of her. We know she poisoned me with a full bottle of Ipecac. We know there was some mysterious overdose she admitted to in the doctor's office, but she wouldn't tell us what that was. We know she was messing around with pills. We know we were getting sick after she administered meds on several occasions. Halloween, adoption party, just she would give me pills that I'd have a reaction. We know all this was going on, but I only got her to admit that she gave me pills and I had a reaction during the overdose with the doctors. The doctors, she admitted to giving me pills and I had a reaction. She didn't say it was an overdose. She told the doctor she didn't want to look into it. Then when the doctors and teachers wanted to help me, she moved me to Texas as quick as possible. So I had to figure all this out on my own. It was extremely difficult to do. It was extremely difficult to take all these facts and then process them, talk to therapists, talk to doctors, and figure out what the hell it all means. I know I have the facts. I've always had the facts. I always knew I had a reaction at age 7 after my mother administered me pills. I know I lost my sight. I know I woke up with my nervous system the same. I know teachers were asking me questions about it in the hallway. I know I had to go into physical therapy and speech therapy because of this. I knew all that. But what the hell does it all mean? If a mother gives you 5 pills and then you wake up like different for the rest of your life and your breathing slowed down, you went unconscious, you lost all your vision, you couldn't feel your hands, you couldn't talk, it was like your whole mouth was numb, you couldn't stand up, and then you just passed out cold and woke up very, very different. And your mother was on that phone with help. They told her to bring me to the emergency room. She said, they don't know what they're talking about, and hung up on them. What does it all mean? It means my mother was a psycho idiot who was deciding to cripple her child. That's all. And then when she started getting caught, she took evasive action. That's all it means. It means that she committed a crime and then covered it up. But if you're going to do stuff like that, you either got to handle it or take it. Your choice. If you're going to treat people badly, you either got to take the bad treatment yourself or you got to try to make things better because you made a mistake. One or the other. If you steal something from somebody, you either got to deal with them wanting to steal from you, or you can try to replace the item you stole, tell them it was an accident, tell them, oh, I thought that was my bag. Oops, we have same bag. So here's your bag back and I'm so sorry. You try to make it right. But if you're not going to make it right, don't expect when that same shit comes back at you. If you're going to do something terrible to somebody, you better be able to take it or make it better.